Good evening and welcome to tonight's Board of School Trustees meeting. We begin this meeting like we do each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us take a moment to pause and honor Dr. Wendy Robinson, who passed away on August 18th. Dr. Robinson was a lifelong advocate for children, and supporting public education was her passion. Thank you, everyone. And now we will have roll call.
Good evening. Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Julie Hollingsworth, District 1.
Jennifer Mathias, District 2.
Raleigh Booker, District 4.
Noah Smith, District 3.
And to my left, we have Dr. Mark Daniel, Superintendent of Fort Wayne Community Schools, and Angie Filler, Clerk of the Board. And I'm Maria Norman, Member at Large. This evening, we start with awards and recognition. It is recommended that the board recognize Chief Financial Officer Kathy Friend for receiving the Sagamore of the Wabash. The Sagamore of the Wabash is the highest honor given by the Governor of Indiana. It is given to individuals who have provided a distinguished service to the state or governor. Kathy Friend joined Fort Wayne Community Schools on January 18th, 2000. She began her career at a CPA firm in Indianapolis after graduating in 1982 from IUPUI with a bachelor's degree of science in accounting. She became a senior planner at Paul Harris Stores corporate office, and in 1988 she returned to Fort Wayne as the director of internal audit for the city. She later became the deputy controller and then the city controller. As chief financial officer of Fort Wayne Community Schools, she has been a respected member of the superintendent's cabinet and a trusted leader throughout the state. She has served as FWCS's liaison with local legislators and the Indiana General Assembly, and it is often said that Kathy knows the state's education funding formula better than anyone. Kathy believes strongly in public education and being fiscally responsible. She was a leader in moving FWCS to greater energy efficiency and spearheaded 3 successful capital referendums that brought FWCS's aging schools into the 21st century. While Kathy is serious about dollars and cents, she also likes to have fun. She encourages staff through team building activities such as the annual Christmas decorating contest, filling a ridiculously large heart-shaped box with treats at Valentine's Day, and spirit days such as Polka Dot Day or any excuse to wear a funny headband. She also loves Peeps, Hallmark Christmas movies, and her adorable granddaughter Emma. Kathy is joined tonight by Emma and the rest of her supportive family, including her husband Greg, their children Laura and Jared, and their daughter-in-law Sarah, and son-in-law Drew is here in spirit. Congratulations, Kathy, on this well-deserved honor. We now welcome Representative Gia Quinta to the microphone to present this prestigious honor to Miss Kathy Friend.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board, Superintendent Daniel. Nice to be here tonight. I haven't been in the room in a while. I'm not used to the white background. Somebody else was in charge the last time I think I was here. That'd be my brother. So the meetings are a lot quieter, I've noticed, by the way. But yeah, so there is a widely known this dynamic duo that used to come down to the State House and would like to talk to the legislators about upcoming legislation and budgets and things like that. And while we had a fond farewell and ceremony and wonderful celebration of one half of the duo with former Superintendent Wendy Robinson. It was a lovely ceremony on Saturday. We're here to celebrate the other half of what I call the dynamic duo. Kathy Friend, that's you. So why don't you come on up if you wouldn't mind. And I'll stay close to the mic here. I want to present to you on behalf of Governor Holcomb, and he doesn't give very many of these out, as you and I both know, right? The Sagamore of the Wabash, which is the highest award given to an Indiana citizen. And I want you to know personally, a big thanks from me for all that you've done to answer all my questions, coming down to Indianapolis and doing such a wonderful job, not only my questions, but I'm sure other legislators, and fighting for public education, particularly Fort Wayne Community Schools. Congratulations on this very prestigious award, and I think we should all give Kathy a round of applause. Now, not quite as prestigious because it comes from little old me, but I just want to give you, and it's a proclamation on behalf of myself and the Indiana House of Representatives. Again, thanking you for your service to the state, everything that you've done. Again, I know that the school district up here wouldn't be as good a shape as it is without your steadfast lobbying, so to speak, your efforts. I know I really do appreciate it. And because trust me, folks, there have been some times when things were going this way, and Kathy got us back on course down in Indianapolis. And while we don't win all the fights, we've won quite a few, thanks to you and your hard work. So again, this is from me. It's a lot of things. It doesn't mention the peeps and things like that, but it does mention your history here and what you've done. I think it's kind of fun too that you. Obviously graduated from high school here in Fort Wayne, came back, started your career with a lot of it with the city, Mayor Paul Humke, and then continuing in government service here at Fort Wayne Community Schools. So we appreciate that you stayed here in Fort Wayne.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Congratulations. Before I know we're up against, I do want to recognize a couple folks from Indianapolis. Justin Swanson, hi Justin, back in the back. Randy Bohr, is Randy back in the back as well? I know they're friends of yours too. So, and how do we get pictures?
He's right there. Yep.
Are you going to get in it with? Are you going to get in it with us? Can we do a couple pictures?
Sure. Can I just make one comment first?
I suppose.
I just,
when have you not
no,
made?
that's
You've
okay.
always made.
No, I just want to say it's been my honor to work for the public sector since 1988 when I started at the city, and it has been it's been important to me that the public have trust in the organizations that I'm involved in, and that they know that we're transparent and doing right by the taxpayers' money, and that has always been my number one goal. And I have a very supportive staff that's here today that I couldn't do it without, and my family supports me, and I couldn't do it without them. And I've got a couple city people that have followed me along the way that are still here as well. So it's been a great ride, and I'm really appreciative of the honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Kathy, please have all of your groups come. It's not often that someone gets the Sagamore of the Wabash, so please take all the time you need to get photos with everyone. Come on up.
Come on, Emma.
Kathy, did you want Yeah, absolutely. Kathy's staff. Kathy wants a picture, please.
Hey, Randy, Justin, come be in this picture. You're kind of my staff, too.
We're gonna have to scrunch. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Good job, Justin. Find your window. Is that it on pictures, Kathy? You can, the floor is
I got my
yours.
picture with my other peeps earlier, so.
Okay, okay. Thank you all for being here. And congratulations again, Kathy. Okay, and now up for the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes from our regular meeting on August 14th, vouchers and payroll, and the personnel report. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'd move approval of the items listed under the consent agenda, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Noah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Daniel?
Yes. Now that you've had that approval, I'd like to introduce Kathy's replacement, which huge shoes, but Rosie Shipman. Rosie, if you'd please stand. Rosie joined FWCS in 2001 as the secretary and treasurer at Weiser Park Elementary. She held the same position at Forest Park Elementary, and then in 2013 moved to the business department, where she served as accounting clerk, budget analyst, and budgeting director. Rosie replaces current CFO Kathy Friend, so we expect the expertise to easily flow. So congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
We also have Heather Krebs, budgeting director. Heather came to FWCS in 2013 as a coordinator of program controls in the facilities department. She has played a significant role in the district's bond-funded renovation projects, recent referendum campaigns, and worked on the development of AMP Lab at Electric Works. She is a member of the Indiana Board Association, is an elected board member of the DeKalb Central United School District. Heather replaces current budgeting director Rosie Shipman, so we're in good hands. So,
Congratulations to you both. Let's see. So we are to new business. Steve, can you take the first agenda item?
Sure, let me pull it up.
Thank you. If not, I have it.
I've got it here.
Okay.
No, that's not, okay. It is recommended that the board approve a European trip to Amsterdam, Netherlands, and Paris, France. This is going to occur June 12th to the 18th in 2025. For any Northside High School student that is eligible, Northside students will have daily learning and language immersion opportunities. The trip will immerse students in different languages and cultures that they have been studying. They will also have the opportunity to experience global travel. Hopefully that's a positive aspect. And they'll assist increase, which will assist increase. The sentence isn't written very well, but they're going to have a good time in Europe. And Aaron Stanley, German teacher, and Principal Dave West are present to answer any questions we might have for them.
Thanks, Steve. Is there a motion on the floor?
I move for approval.
Second.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Jennifer. Any questions for Mr. Stanley or Mr. West?
How many students are going on this trip?
At this point, no idea. Wanted to wait for actual approval before I really started heavily advertising it. If we could get it as many as possible. International travel changes your life, opens your eyes, and I'd like to make it available to as many Northside kids as I can.
What makes a student eligible to go on this trip?
If they go to Northside and they behave themselves.
Okay.
And they're willing to work to participate in fundraisers or outside babysitting, mowing yards, whatever it is that they want to do to show that they're committed to paying for the trip.
Do we have any expected costs? at this point?
Yeah, right now the cost is about $4,100, but that's for an 8-day trip at, today's prices on things. That's an amazing deal. I started to price it out myself, and I stopped when I got around $10,000 and wasn't quite done yet.
Are you taking a trip this year by any chance?
I actually took one in the summer. It was a 2-week community trip.
Okay.
6 different countries over the course of 2 weeks. It was a lot, but
Wow.
it was a lot of fun and a lot of exhaustion. So an 8-day trip, a little better, I think.
Nice. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Stanley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Noah, can you do the high ability grant?
Sure,
please?
as recommended, the board approve the application for and acceptance of a high ability grant from the Indiana Department of Education in the amount of $233,960 for the 23-24 school year. The state of Indiana provides non-competitive funds for districts to address the learning needs of high ability students. Currently, high ability services are delivered through the efforts of classroom teachers. The overall program is coordinated by Amanda Flieger, high ability dual credit advanced placement and internship manager, and she's here to answer any questions.
Thanks, Noah. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move approved.
Second.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Steve. Any questions for Ms. Fleeker?
Can we just get a clarification on what school year this grant is for?
It's for this coming school year, so we are finishing up the grant from last school year. It will end December 30th, but funds then, we can use these funds anytime from July 1 until they're encumbered September 15th of next year.
Thank you.
How many kids fit in this category that this money could go serve?
2,600 students within the district, roughly 9.5%.
And when do we test, or how are children tested to be high ability?
There's multiple ways of pathways that we use. We utilize the cognitive ability test as a first pathway. We universally screen all students in kindergarten, 2nd, and 5th grade, and then select students in 8th grade that are new to our district since their 6th grade year. After the cognitive ability test, we look at those results and then utilize a Skills for Identifying Gifted Students inventory that gives us more qualitative data, and then utilize FastBridge data as well to identify. So using multiple pathways in order to determine if identification is appropriate.
So the last time that a student would be tested is in 8th grade if they're new?
Unless they refer themselves, or if a teacher refers them, or a counselor, or leadership.
And do you have an anticipated use for the funds, or?
So you'll notice that there's a substantial increase, and that is because for the first time in 16 years, the Indiana General Assembly gave a substantial increase to the line item of gifted and talented for the state. We're looking at really hopefully expanding our camp invention that we do in the summer. We serviced around 300 students this past year, and hopefully we're looking to expand that to provide more opportunities to students because funding was limited. We're also looking at utilizing the extra funds for testing and utilizing local norms to cast a wider net for identification purposes.
You said that that was at 9% of our student population. Is that an average? Is that up this year or down or?
We're right at about the same, and 9% is not, I mean, it's right where we're supposed to be, right in the average of where we're supposed to be for identification purposes.
So that represents less than $90 a student, and that's a substantial increase in prior years.
Yeah.
We're really investing in our kids around here. Okay. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks.
Or Amelia, sorry.
Other questions? No. No, you're fine. I think we're good. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Julie, can you do the Perkins? Thank you.
It's recommended that the board approve the application for and acceptance of Perkins 5 basic grant from the Indiana Department of Education for $1,168,182 for the 23-24 school year. The state of Indiana provides non-competitive funds for districts to provide for Area 14 career and technical education expenses for the 23-24 school year. The three main goals for the grant are to provide state-of-the-art equipment and supplies for all Area 14 CTE programs, as well as high-quality professional learning to Career Academy educators, to increase the development of skilled trades pathways and increase enrollment of concentrator students across Area 14, and to increase the development of health science pathways and increase enrollment of concentrator students across Area 14. Currently, the Perkins 5 basic grant services Fort Wayne Community Schools, East Allen, Southwest, and Northwest. The funding is currently coordinated by Dr. Sandra Adams as Career Academy Principal with a steering committee of Shanita Bolton, Jesse Webb, Riley Johnson, Rosie Shipman, Alicia Stapleton, and Darlene Mack. And Dr. Adams is available to answer any questions.
Thanks, Julie. Is there a motion on the floor?
So motion.
Second.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Steve. Any questions for Dr. Adams?
What does Area 14 mean? Area 14.
We're the LEA for the Perkins grant, so we distribute funds for all 4 school districts in Allen County.
So part of the goal I see is to increase enrollment in skilled trade pathways and health science pathways.
Yes.
So what is our progress on that front? And
We've done really well in terms of we're confined by allocations and space, so we can strategically increase enrollment by 3 years ago, Jesse Webb partnered with Local 166 to create the additional welding space, which has been just a huge victory in moving forward. And the other thing that we can do is increase our internships, because that allows us to increase year 2 enrollment in spite of space. And so this is the first year that we have gone far past our allotted 18. We have 29 in year 2 for welding, and we have 12 of them already placed, and we're doing interviews September 6th to try to place more. So,
wow,
yeah.
that's great.
We're doing the same in the health sciences as well. And we have added dental has a year 2 this program that we have 7 students that will work for the DNB certification, which is really just the highest level of rigor. And it involves the radiation certification, which is something that PFW also does. So that's a real lift. And then we also have Central Service Tech, which is the sterilization pathway of operating rooms. That leads into a certification that we now have 10 students in that, partnering with St. Francis.
That's great.
Great, thank you.
It says on here, state-of-the-art equipment and supplies. Do you have intended purchases or?
Yeah,
plan
so
to do?
truly in the spirit of the Perkins 5, in the spirit of that grant, it really is, the goal is to have students working on state-of-the-art equipment whenever possible. And that is something that we adhere to. The best purchase that we did last year as an example of this, I'm not a carpenter. I mean, it does impress me, but I don't understand. I'm not as wowed as Mr. Roberts is. But the reserve grant, I don't know if you remember me coming in last year when we got the reserve grant. We purchased a CNC for carpentry called the Laguna, and it is an amazing CNC machine. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, it
That's
really
awesome.
is. I know just enough, you know.
It sounds very impressive. Thank you.
But the other, I know last year we purchased a upgrade from 1987 when the auto welding building was first built. We were still using the same paint booth from that. And Rosie can attest that that was quite a purchase. It was around $180,000. But now when you go in to the paint booth, you can see from all sides what they're working on. And so the learning opportunities are so much greater just with those equipment improvements.
That's awesome.
Previously, Amelia, you said for high ability kids, it was a big raise. How does this compare to last year? Did we get this grant last year?
Our grant, we did actually increase by $80,000, which is not substantial, but the grant is based on a very complicated funding process. I learned this year.
And how many kids are we serving altogether throughout the Career Academy, and how many FWCS versus non-FWCS roughly?
We have, right now, I think we are 932 at the Career Academy and then 400 at AMP Lab. And I don't have the FWCS number because we will do count day the third week of September, but across all of Allen County last year, it was 13,000, to which a large portion of that is FWCS.
13,000 or 1,300? Sorry.
13,000 kids enroll in one level of a career tech class. Not everybody, you know, AMP Lab and the Career Academy are specifically designed for the concentrator status, but those individual classes do total that many students.
Any other questions for Dr. Adams?
I'll give one more plug. Dr. Adams gives great tours. I got to do her the facilities last spring. And I saw her sign out there on Cook and DuPont Road, but I didn't know what the heck it was. And then got to go out there and then be at actual live demonstration, because I am tongue-tied, and they had just gone over that lesson, so I got to be there live mannequin, I guess, or I don't know, whatever. But
we did put him through the ropes.
yeah, it was a great
fun.
experience, and it was for someone who's been here a long time. I didn't realize quite all we did, and I appreciate you showing me that, Sandy. It was really impressive.
I still use your virtual reality photo, or the virtual Oculus. Yeah.
Well, that was fun too.
Thank you.
I got to help Dr. Adams on the first day of school direct some children to where the heck they were going, who had just showed up at the Career Center that day. Maybe they were their first day, or they were going to construction trades or welding or something else. And pretty soon I was like, your class is over there across the street. You have
She
to be
was
careful at the
impressive.
plate. You get on bus whatever and go to this. It was kind of fun that day, but you did a wonderful job on a kind of a chaotic day for the kids when it's all new to them. But I'm sure that they're all exactly where they need to go at this
Yeah,
point. So.
it was good. Yeah,
So-
you were really a quick study.
Well, thank you. I was trying to figure out which level, there's 3 levels of that building. So where culinary was, where IT was, all kind of good things. So it's a wonderful facility for kids, and thank you for everything you do for them.
I will do one plug on, and then I'll stop talking. But if you are able to come over to the main building, one of our biggest expenditures last year was redoing the culinary space, and it is on the level of any of the competition shows. So if you are looking for just a good view of the investment in programs, you should come and check out the new space. It's great. And you might get a taste test.
Thank you.
Say less. My 12-year-old says that to me all the time. I feel very hip right now. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Jennifer, can you do the next one, please?
It is recommended that the board approve a contract amendment with Wygan Construction Company, Inc. as part of the construction manager as constructor, CMC, contract for renovation of Blackhawk Middle School, previously approved January 23, 2023, and last amended on April 24, 2023. The amended amount is $15,181,818. And the amended contract is $15,922,040. It is also recommended that the board approve the following construction contract for the temperature controls at Blackhawk Middle Schools, automated logic for $775,676. The project consists of architectural, mechanical, plumbing, and electrical renovations to Blackhawk Middle Schools. The contract procurement method for these projects is construction manager as constructor, or CMC, for publicly funded project as allowable per IC 5-32. The amendment establishes the final overall guaranteed maximum price for the project. The existing building automation system controls are proprietary, and automated logic is a single source vendor for this work. These contracts will be funded from the 2020 School Building Basic Renewal Restoration and Safety Project Bond. Project specifications require the work to be completed by July 25th, 2025. Darren Hess, Director of Facilities, will be able to answer our questions.
Thanks, Jennifer. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move for approval.
Second.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Noah. Any questions for Darren?
Darren, so it's going from 15.1 to 15.9, is that right? Or they're both changing, or, sorry, I got confused there.
That is correct. The first board rec was for the professional pre-construction services with us, and the second one was for some pre-purchase of HVAC equipment. So this should be the last amendment. This is the full project.
So the full project would be 15.9 or 30?
The 15.9.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so prices keep going up still, huh?
We were pleasantly surprised on this one that it actually plateaued and came in close to where we thought it was going to be. So hopefully we'll continue to see that plateau.
Supply chain working through itself, or is that
still working on issues? That's why we have the electrical gear and the HVAC equipment pre-purchase, but it's getting a little better.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions for Darren? Thanks, Darren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I have security film installation project. It is recommended that the board approve the following construction contract for the security film installation project. The bid goes to Sun Control Center for a total amount of $358,682. This project consists of the installation of 3M Scott Shield Ultra Clear S800 safety and security film at 63 sites. The project will be funded from the 2023 General Obligation Bond Funds. Project specifications require that the work be completed by August 9th of 2024, and Darren is still available to answer any questions, and board members can see that we received 4 bids, with Sun Control Center being the lowest bid. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move approved.
Thanks, Noah.
Second.
Thanks, Raleigh. Any questions for Darren?
Will the work mostly be done next summer, or is it just like throughout the year until then process kind of thing? Or?
Actually, I spoke with them today. We'll probably start at the end of September, and their goal is to have it completed by the end of this May, so they can free up their schedule for other schools during the summer coming up. So the intent right now is to be complete by May.
Nice.
Are any of these firms local?
The Sun Control Center is the most local. They're at Huntington. The other ones are Toledo and Indianapolis. One of the requirements of the bid specifications for this type of work, they had to be a certified 3M installer. So there was only 4 within, pretty much 3 hours of Fort Wayne, unless you went to Chicago.
Huntington's right next door. So.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thanks, Darren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Raleigh, can you do the special education?
It is recommended that the board approve the acceptance of special education FY24-611 grant from the Indiana Department of Education for the school year 2024-25. For FWCS, the Part 2 special education grant amount is $9,488,701 for the 2024-25 school year. Funds are used to support salary and fringe funds are used to support salary and fringe of approximately 130 staff members. These non-competitive grants are in addition to the Special Education Foundation payment. Jennifer Burning, Special Education Director, oversees the grant and will be available to answer questions.
Thanks, Raleigh. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move we approve.
Second.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Steve. Any questions for Jennifer?
What level of staff does this include? 130, is that all the way up to teachers or mostly like aides and assistants or?
Yeah, it includes teachers, administrators. It includes also our Park Center grant, our Park Center funding, and then funding for some other factors too, like orientation and mobility for our blind students.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks, Jennifer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Noah, can you do the board meeting schedule?
Sure, it's recommended the board approve the schedule for 2024 board meetings. Meetings are held at 6 p.m. in the boardroom at the Grell Administrative Building, which we are sitting in. Generally, dates considered for regular board meetings are the second and fourth Mondays of each month, except where noted below. We have a list of dates with a couple of notes on different dates. I do note that we aren't meeting 3 times in the month of May this year, it looks like. Yeah.
Do we need to vote on this? It does. We do need to vote on this. Yes. Okay. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Julie. I think all of them seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Steve, can you do item H?
Did you say me?
Steve,
No, Steve.
can you do item H?
Okay. This is about order of regular meetings, is that right? The Policy Committee recommends that the School Board of Trustees update the order of meetings to comply with Senate Enrolled Act 342. The new law requires school boards to approve the employment of individuals convicted of certain criminal offenses in a separate special agenda item. Similarly, the law requires approval of the employment of individuals known to have engaged in certain other types of misconduct. The Policy Committee recommends that these required disclosures occur as part of the consent agenda and that the board update the bylaws accordingly. Adding as required disclosures under the consent agenda will become effective immediately, and our attorney, David Amen, is here to answer any questions about this recommendation.
Thanks, Steve. Is there a motion on the floor?
So move.
Second.
Thanks, Raleigh. Thanks, Julie. Any questions for David?
Sure. What are the types of offenses or misconduct that are required to be reported?
There's a pretty detailed list in the act, and it includes certain types of convictions that are relatively common, like OWIs, DUIs, and any sort of battery, including a misdemeanor battery. So we may have a certain number of our staff who have those kind of convictions at any point in their life. We're going to have to disclose those to you.
Right.
Also, other conduct, including like misconduct connected with children and anyone who's on an ankle monitor. So you could be on probation and your conviction isn't on that list, but if you violated your probation and had to wear an ankle monitor, we'd have to have you authorize continued employment for those individuals as well.
So this is people even though they're employed here, let's say?
Current employees is my interpretation of the law is current employees and new candidates for new employment.
So current employees, if they as long as they don't change jobs, there's nothing on the, we don't get those we don't get those in the packet, do we? I mean, so what would cause that? Like if they change jobs within the district?
Well, we are required by law to do background checks every 5 years on all employees, so certain things come up, but we also require employees to self-report any criminal activity.
Okay.
So it comes up that way sometimes.
And so I would assume that these situations have been few and far between in the past?
Well, it's, I don't know how, we'll start to see how frequently they occur, but in every case in the past, we have followed our own internal guidelines on what to do when we learn about an employee or a candidate for employment's criminal conviction. And in certain instances, HR has approved the employment of those individuals. So we definitely have people who have a misdemeanor battery somewhere in their past who are currently employed with us, for example.
And so going forward on our consent agenda, we'll have a whole nother section of if someone rises to this level of a special agenda item?
Yep.
Is that correct?
The policy committee met, and we are going to propose sharing with you the certain information about these employees, including their positions and the conviction, but not necessarily to publicly disclose all possible information, although that would always be available to you upon request.
Does this apply to any other local governmental agency? Would the city of Fort Wayne be obligated to report these situations?
No.
So why are they picking on schools?
You know,
Public schools, Steve. Only public schools. I'll take a wild guess.
The law doesn't apply to private.
Why are they picking on
Does it,
public
David?
schools?
I'm sure you've read the law. Does it apply to private schools?
I believe it's all schools.
Parochial schools too?
I think it does apply to all schools.
But
That's a
do they have a public meeting at which that information would be disseminated?
Probably not.
No.
No.
We can send that information to Ashley, can't we? If it happens at a parochial school.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for David?
So this will take effect next meeting?
Yep. Yes.
Interesting.
Okay, thanks, David. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye. Grudgingly.
I don't remember who read that, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this next one. The next agenda item is the resolution to support Grow Allen. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees pass a resolution in support of the efforts and planning for a new non-for-profit organization in Allen County known as Grow Allen, as its work on behalf of the children and young adults in our community. The purpose of Grow Allen is for every student in Allen County to graduate from high school having what they need to choose, prepare for, and pursue their preferred career path. Grow Allen will strive to fulfill this purpose by focusing on 4 pillars: early learning, life skills, work-based learning, and advocacy. Grow Allen has expressed its commitment to work in cooperation with and in support of public school corporations in Allen County as it fulfills its purpose, including by asking several superintendents to join its board of directors. The Board of School Trustees of Fort Wayne Community Schools will support the stated purpose of Grow Allen and looks forward to partnering with Grow Allen. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Jennifer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That brings us to the end of our new business. And so now we have a presentation, Nutrition Services Summer Food Service Program. Felipe Guerrera, Director of Nutrition Services, will be giving a presentation about the Fort Wayne Community Schools Summer Food Service Program. We welcome Felipe to the floor. It's always lovely to see you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
I think this is the third time in 6 months being here, but don't get me wrong, I'm excited. So yes, I'm Felipe. I'm the Director of Nutrition Services. I've been with Fort Wayne Community Schools for about 4 years now, but in this position for a little over 6 months. And it's been a roller coaster, but believe me, it's been awesome, and I love it. So today I'll be presenting a report from our summer food service program that just finishing up in July. So this is current for the year 2023. So I have a presentation, correct? There you go. All right. All right, so let me begin by providing some context about the summer food service program. So it is a federally funded, state-administered program, and Fort Wayne Community Schools has chosen to operate this program. It's been a very long time that we have done it, and we have continued to operate this summer program. The core mission is to provide free and nutritious meals and snacks to children and teenagers aged 18 and under in low-income areas when school is not in session. And that's probably the most important part, when school is not in session. This is just to give you some numbers of what happened this summer with our summer program. So in 2023, we served 6,699 breakfasts, 3,504 lunches, and 17,842 snacks. So we serve almost, a little over 60,000 meals in this program for this year. Then later on, I'm going to compare some of the other years, so it's more in perspective how this year looks like. But we had a successful summer. So what is the main purpose of this program? Like I said before, it is to feed children when school is not in session. So the main thing that we're trying to accomplish here is to curb food insecurity. According to Feeding America, food insecurity occurs when a family worries about running out of food due to financial constraints. And that happens very often throughout the school year, and more especially during the summer months when school is not in session. So locally here in Allen County, approximately 14% of our population faces food insecurity, including children. So it's not just a matter of access to food. What we do also matters, because when children don't have access to food, that's tied to high rates of chronic diseases like diabetes and cardiovascular diseases, which result in healthcare costs and then all sorts of different issues in our community. So this is really a community issue. So to give you some highlights about what happened in our summer, so our main goal is to, again, fight food insecurity. But then this summer, it was very special because we had a summer kickoff celebration to start off the summer. So we went to Allen County Public Library, and they were gracious enough to give us whole space for us. And Rhonda, who's right there in the back, she was the mastermind behind the whole plan, so it wasn't me, it was her. But she planned the whole event, and we brought together about 350 children and 171 adults. And we had different sponsors who donated lunches, ice cream, and we had the dairy farm providing fun activities. We have cornhole, and we have someone in our staff dressing as a cow. And it was a successful event. We received feedback from the event, and it was positive. And this was the right setup to start our summer program this year. So some of the other things that we've done this year, and let me move that forward. So we started a nutrition ed program in the libraries, and we enlisted our dietitians to go to libraries and teach nutrition ed classes. But this summer was extra special because at Nutrition Services, and this is the second year, but this year we grew our own produce, which then we took to the classroom. So if you go and you happen to go to nutrition services, you're going to see some raised beds, right in the entrance. And we grew, I don't know how many types of produce. It was a lot. We still have a lot. And we were able to feed our staff as well, some of those items. We also introduced a breakfast coffee bar pilot in our high schools. And when you compare the numbers, it doesn't look significant. And the number one reason is enrollment was a lot higher this year than last year. When you compare participation numbers that way, it's not significant. But participation against participation, it increased about 40%, which is significant for us. And this was a model that now we're going to introduce in our high schools this year. We believe that we can produce a quality product for high schoolers, help them out a little bit, since they're starting earlier, right? But it is a nutritional alternative to what they may get out there. And this is part of our free reimbursable breakfast, so they can get this quality nutrition that's comparable with some other brands, out there. So this was really exciting to pilot this summer. Now, these are some of the highlights we have this year, but we also have several challenges. This doesn't come without its fair set of challenges. So the first one is finding staff. We had a hard time finding people to operate the summer sites. We had 28, which is arguably a little lower than what we had in the past, but it was incredibly hard to have staff work this summer. And it's mainly because most of our employees are school-based employees. They have the summer off. Now they have to opt to work the summer. That's been increasingly difficult to find staff who are willing to do it. Another constraint is the menu offerings that we have. Based on the conditions of the summer program that we serve the parks and we serve the libraries, and some of our schools now, the nature of the menu has to be a cold menu. And we've received some feedback about what could be done, and we're exploring possibilities of what we can do about our offerings. Other regulations that are very hard on this, is one of the hardest regulations that we have for the summer program is that children who participate, they have to eat on site. We had a waiver during COVID that they could come and pick up the meal and then leave, but that was gone when we started the summer program last year. And that is very hard to navigate.
Why do you think that is? Why is that regulation in there, do you think?
Well, one is to keep compliance with the program, so they like for us to be able to see the student or the children get the meal so we can count in our rosters, and then just to make sure that the student or the children is consuming the meal and not giving out to someone else. So during COVID, that changed because of the nature of what we were navigating. But then once things settled a little bit, we went back to what's always been the case, and they have to stay on site.
And to be clear, when you say that they have to eat the meal, it's the whole meal that they're offered, not just bits and pieces. Let's say they eat the sandwich part and they're full and there's carrots or apples and they decide they don't want to eat that. We can't do anything with that, right?
Nope.
It's that kid's either got to eat it or it's trash.
Correct.
Whether they open it or not.
Correct. Yep. So that's a big challenge as well. So let me show you this graph. So something that has happened since 2017 is that we have had a steady drop in participation in our summer program. If you see the trend lines, they're all trending down, except for breakfast, because 2022 was an outlier, so that's why it looks a little, upwards. But as a rule, we have been trending down since 2017. There are a couple different factors. One, we have reduced the number of park sites that we can operate because of constraints that they have on their side that we sadly can't do much about it. And also some of the playing dynamics. If you see children not outside very much anymore, And this is something else that really plays into this mix because they have to be outside to get these meals. And if they're not, then sadly they're not going to get it because every site that we operate has to be approved by the state. So these are some of the challenges that we have to navigate every summer. And if you see the charts clearly, those things haven't changed.
So what are you going to do next year?
Well, let me get to that. This is just to put, our summer program in perspective. This is 2022 data, and I chose to display 2022 because we have a full year of data. 2023 is still not completed. But so if you see our summer program, it is very small in scale, but it's still incredibly significant because of what we're trying to achieve. And we want it to be successful. We want it to be what it's supposed to be and has tremendous potential. And last year, thanks to Rhonda, so she decided to enter into this contest, and it's a contest sponsored by USDA. And this competition, if you can call it, recognizes sponsors who work hard at offering nutritious meals that are appealing and appetizing. So out of the 50,000 sites in the United States during summer, 98 were eligible for submissions. And we received a bronze level award last year, which is significant. This year we're competing again. We hope to get silver, not gold, because there are a couple of different things that we have to check in order to get gold, so that's for next year. All right, so that's a little picture of us during our summer kickoff event. You see, we do have a cow. And it was pretty cool because we had some representatives from USDA. So they heard about the event. They were really excited because they haven't been able to attend any event since COVID started. And they heard about us, having this big celebration. They decided to come, and they made a whole report about what happened with us, during the summer. So what are we doing, right? So how are we going to make this better? So we are right now working with local farmers to bring fresh produce to our schools. And actually on Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have fresh corn in our secondary schools. And it comes from our local farm, Kurt's Farm. And on Thursday, we're going to have the media at Northside High School around 10:30 a.m. because we want to showcase what we're doing. And this is farm to fork. This comes from a farm. It is good produce, and we're, supporting local business, but at the same time providing high quality items to our menus. And we want to bring the same model to our summer food service program in the future. So we're looking at our menus as well. So one of the biggest constraints that we have is our cold menu. So we're looking at ways that we can have maybe hot items or different offerings during the summer. Right now, nutrition services going through a restructuring. We're going to add a couple of different new positions so we can expand our reach for the school year and for the summer program. And hopefully some of these new employees will have skills and abilities that will help us reach that amazing goal to offer different things during the summer program. We're also going to expand our nutrition education component. And I don't know if any of you have heard about the blender bike, but that's how it looks like. So this bike, we hope to procure in the future, and it's very cool because you can teach about nutrition, but also exercise, right? You kill two birds with one stone. So you can teach about healthy ingredients, healthy offerings, and they get to choose whatever they want, put in the blender, and then start making a smoothie. So what a better way of engaging kids and hopefully adults as well on different ways that we can participate of better nutrition education. One of the cool things that we want to do is explore the possibility of a food truck. So when we say that the dynamics have changed and the kids are not coming to us, how about we come to them, right? So having a food truck, it's a complex operation, a lot of safety regulations about pretty much everything, right? But if we can achieve that and bring the food to them, we can hopefully offset the cost of such operation and, again, bring meals to whoever most need it during the summer. And hopefully that's going to be a cool thing as well during the school year for our secondary schools. We plan on having more partnerships with our local businesses, whether it is for our kickoff event so they can donate more things for us because, again, we have regulations. We can only feed the students. But this year we had some generous donations from older partners, and that's how we fed the adults. So hopefully we can have more of those partnerships. And right now we operate the program from Monday through Friday. And a big question mark that we have is how about we expand it to Saturdays when nothing's really going on. This could be, again, a uncharted territory when it comes to expenses, labor, who may be willing to work on Saturdays, and a sort of different issues that we may encounter. But again, if we're trying to curb food insecurity, how about we offer meals when no one is? So these are some of the things that we're thinking about right now, and that we try to be proactive. But bottom line is we're going to reach out and we're going to ask what should be done, what could be done, and then we put our working brains to action. So that's all I have for you. If you have any questions.
How many days did you serve food during the summer?
How many days? We operated for about 8 weeks, I believe. And we didn't serve meals on 4th of July, and there was another day. So
about 40 days?
Yeah.
So your daily food count was under 600 about?
Mm-hmm.
Is that about right?
Like that. Yeah, when you average it out, yes.
Question about the coffee bar. Did the students like it?
Oh, yeah.
The
feedback was
during the school year?
Yes. So the feedback was overwhelming. Some of the seniors were, "Why are you doing this to me? Why did you have it before?" And then we have a couple different issues. So our high school breakfast participation is the lowest one that we have. It's about 14 to 15% on any school year. So this could be a massive hit, and we have to think about how we scale this. Summer program, it is very easy to navigate because of the low scale numbers. But then during the school year, the big question is, how do we do this? If we're going to have the same participation that we have at lunch, then we have a big issue that just we can't fulfill, right, the expectations. So what we're going to do is the last week of August, this week, we're going to have it on Tuesday and Thursdays, and we're going to start it as a limited amount type of offering. And then we're going to see how that goes. We're going to make sure that the students know about this so they don't get frustrated or say, "Hey, I didn't get anything." But we're going to start scaling our program that way. Then we can talk to our staff who may be willing to work more hours if needed, how different equipment we need to make it more efficient, and then scale that way rather than starting big and failing at the first try. We know we're going to make mistakes because this is uncharted territory, right? But we're going to try this way because of the overwhelming feedback.
That'll be all high schools?
Yes.
Tomorrow morning for breakfast, so you can come get coffee. Skip the Starbucks.
Yep. And again, the feedback we've received, when it comes to taste tests, everyone has their own opinion, right? But as a consensus, it's very comparable to what you can get at Starbucks.
So what exactly is what kind of options are on the menu?
So right now we have a mocha latte, and we have, I believe, another option for coffee. So the idea is to have at least 2 options right now. And then during the summer program, we also tried smoothies. That wasn't as popular as the coffee, but then we're going to try to find the right timing to bring that into our breakfast offerings.
So any kind of food item along with the coffee?
Yeah, so they have to take the coffee plus the breakfast.
Okay.
So in this scenario, the coffee is like the freebie. But yeah, they need to take some other items so they can take the coffee.
Even though 2/3 of my daughters work at Starbucks, so you figure out the mango dragon fruit refresher and lunch, I'll throw my money.
All right. It is on.
Don't discount the teachers in this thing, too. I went to a Starbucks with 6 teachers walking out the day we all went to Parkview Field. and heard about this.
We want that business. I mean, this is also going to tie in with our catering efforts. So we're trying to really revamp that. And whatever we do in the schools, we're going to try to, put it on steroids for our catering program so we can offer things that, some of our customers may be.
I know Sandra's left. Are you tapping into the kids in Antis for any services or work opportunities that are in the?
Now, they have been, not yet, but through some other conversations, we will want to engage with them. So when I came from a different school district, and we had a couple different programs that work directly with the culinary arts program that I would love to bring here, like some Iron Chef, Master Chef Junior type of stuff, recipe competitions, and they were all involved into that process. Yeah.
Any other questions for Felipe?
I have a question about, do we still, I know several years ago, like you mentioned, you have to take the breakfast options to get, like, first day of school I was helping, and it was, you have to take the packed that in order to get the juice, the milk, and the fruit snacks, or whatever else was offered. At lunchtime, do we have, fruit used to be offered, now we have to take the fruit. We used to be able to have a bin or something that if you didn't take your apple or whatever, and you could toss it into, and then like our athletes would eat it after school, or they could come there, or anybody that needed something, and then COVID hit.
Right.
So are those restrictions still now?
So, and that's something that has resurfaced quite a bit, especially in the last couple months. Since we were almost hitting the end of the school year, I didn't feel like it was the time to make a decision right there and then, because we had a couple other things in the works. So right now we have slicers in our secondary schools, and if you go to any of our secondary schools, they should be slicing their fruit. And we've had already some comments from some school, staff, and someone at Snyder that helps with the athletic. I think she's an athletic coach. And she called me a couple days ago. I was so excited because that's something that she will call me about. Why don't we donate? I said, hold on, work with me. And then this last time she called and she said, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm just going to tell you that I'm excited because I was watching the students, and most of them were eating. So the food waste was minimal. And we want to explore a couple of different options before we go into that route, but it's a viable option that we may have to explore anyways. But we want to see how we can increase consumption in our students first, and then explore what can we do after we have exploited everything else.
Okay. So how does that, like in middle school, if we're not taking it, if I'm taking an apple right now it's just, it is wasted.
And it's also hard to navigate because what students experience at home is very different what they experience at school. And, I want to believe that students now are, foodies like has ever been, right? They watch food shows, they like to go out, they eat good stuff. So their expectations are pretty high. And then on the other side, I don't believe there is a lot of supervision about what they consume. So when you bring those things into the school, you have a lot of unhealthy behaviors, which eating a fruit or a vegetable is the last thing they want. So I believe that nutrition education component should be somehow connected. We, as nutrition services, we don't have the scale and capacity to reach every classroom, but we can somehow partner in the future to try get something across. But that education, it's in the mix when it comes to how we perceive and how we present and how we interact with the foods that we choose to eat. So it's probably a deeper conversation than anything else.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so
All right.
much, Felipe.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to Board member comments. Steve?
Dr. Daniel, there's a rumor sweeping across the district that your deputy superintendent has tendered her resignation and that she has signed a multi-million-dollar contract to sing gospel music across the country in the largest venues around. Is it true?
I'll say that I've heard those rumors as well, and we've now upped our salary to retain her.
Well,
Get an NIL deal?
I was among those that had the opportunity to attend the funeral service for Dr. Robinson on Saturday, and Faye, you really turned what could have been a somber celebration into a celebration of joy. And you are a marvelous singer along with the New Covenant Church. I think I'm going to change my will, and everybody in this room is my witness that if I go, she's going to be there. But it was really, you were just terrific, and I appreciated you being there for the Robinson family and for the district's family as well, too. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Dr. Robinson selected those songs.
Yeah, I, like Steve, attended the celebration of life for Dr. Robinson, a life well lived. The music was fabulous, like Steve said, choir and Faye. I particularly liked hearing from a lot of the people who kind of knew her best, Kathy Carr and Kathy Friend, you know, a lot of good stories. Dr. Daniel, you did a great job. My favorite Bible verse. My kind of favorite story is when I heard a few years ago how Wendy and Jim met, you know, at DePauw College, and Jim was kind of a brash, fancy dressing guy from the East Coast who I think was there to play football. And Wendy, of course, was pretty serious, was there for a serious reason and studious, and didn't even like him when they first met. But my, what a partnership they had. 54 years, 50 years of marriage. And you know, that made me think, I think that was what Wendy was probably best at, was developing partnerships, finding common ground with people. And so many of those partnerships, you know, really benefited the students and the families of Fort Wayne Community Schools. The celebration was at the Clyde Theater, and, you know, owned by Chuck Serac. And what a great partnership we had with him, and Sweetwater. I think of the hundreds of students who have been impacted by that, by our Be Instrumental program, and what an innovation that was. Partnerships with Parkview in our health services programs. AmpLab, you know, that was, I remember Dr. Robinson saying, if there's going to be a school at Electric Works, it will be a Fort Wayne community school. Because there were other entities, believe me, who wanted to get in there. And so she forged partnerships with the developers at Electric Works, and there's a Fort Wayne community school there, AmpLab. Think of all the partnerships that are there. But I'm not going to say anything else, but I was proud to have worked for her and to be her colleague. And one more thing, Kathy, congratulations to you. Well deserved. Maybe hesitate to vote yes on the personnel report, you know, to approve your retirement, but, you know, you'll be with us for a few more months, but that award is well deserved, and all the best to you and your family. That's it.
Thanks, Julie. Wow. I don't know if I can follow that. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend on Saturday, but I do want to thank our media department because I was able to watch it live streamed, even a little delayed. And I think it was a wonderful tribute. And even though I wasn't able, you could feel the energy even watching the video. So I appreciate the folks who were able to get that up for anybody else. I know at one time there was 195 people watching at just one portion of that. So I have no idea because I watched the end. I was able to watch the end live and then come back and watch the beginning, but I could see it's live coming on. There was like 195 people on a Saturday afternoon. So those who weren't able to sit there were able to watch, and thank you. Dr. Robinson meant a lot personally to my family because my father-in-law was an administrator in the district for a long, long time. And there's a personal story that I won't share, but at that point, you knew how much she appreciated her staff. And she was a special woman to a lot of, almost everybody, obviously, but to my family. On another completely different note, I wanted to make a point to thank our safety department, Mike Manuel, and what is relatively small staff right now. And we're hoping with things in the future here, we can increase that. But Mike, I learned the other day because I was meeting with him on a couple questions that I had, and just the things that he does daily for our district and our 30,000 children and our 4,000 employees is an enormous task. And I just wanted to, if you have the chance to thank him and his department for the things that he does daily for all of us to keep us safe, I just would like for everybody to take that opportunity to thank him. And then along with him, coming alongside of him, is Mr. Matt Schiebel. And I know that they are doing tremendous things daily that we don't see. And that I just wanted to thank them for what you do.
Thanks, Jennifer. Raleigh?
I was not able to attend the celebration of life but I was able to go to the viewing the night before, and it was really great to see how many administrators and Fort Wayne Community School staff that was there to pay their respects. It was good for me. I wasn't on the board during the time that, that she was on the board, but I have known her youngest son since preschool. And so it was wonderful to, to show up and be there for him and to give him a good hug and just let him know how impactful his mom has been for our community. She leaves a powerful legacy and just a really lasting impression on our community. Congratulations, Kathy.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Hate to lose you, but just really want you to enjoy your retirement, have fun, new adventures, new memories, and hopefully you'll have a really cool theme day before you leave so I can come by and participate in that. And then I just also want to highlight my Archers, Southside. We had our home opener game on Friday on our new turf, and alumni showed out. I've never seen anything like that before. If you get a chance, you can go on social media and check it out. There were people from newly graduated Archers to people that I had met who told me that they had graduated the year that I was born. It was like a huge reunion. It was really, really amazing. So shout out to everyone who made that happen, Principal Harrell, our Alumni Association, everyone who shared on social media. So just wanted to say that we had a great night on Friday, even though we didn't win the game.
I too, like Raleigh, was not able to attend Saturday, but I did Friday. It was always impressed to see the number of people that came out and pay their respects to Dr. Robinson. Dr. Robinson and I always didn't see eye to eye, but over time, in particular, from the first time I really challenged her, I guess I would say, to getting to know her, to getting to know what she had to deal with, to getting to understand better a lot through Ian and others about what happens every day at this district and her job and responsibilities. I have tremendous amount of respect for her, and anybody who doesn't, I would talk to them about that and challenge them what she's tasked with every day and what she did every single day, not just for the district, but for the community, is unparalleled. And then even it's a commitment that she made to this community, and I think that needs to be appreciated. So much so that it filters down to her son, who had to leave the viewing to go help coach the Northrop Bruins to a game against Wayne High School. Kathy, you share that dedication to the community, to our district. I fortunately have got to work with you and be kind of a sword in your side, so to speak, but hopefully a fun sword. And I greatly appreciate the time you have spent tutoring me, I don't know, giving me tutelage, working through the ups and downs and the questions I have on the finances. Appreciate all you've done, appreciate what you've done for this district, this community, and you will be missed. And I'm excited that Rosie and Heather in particular are going to be part of this group, and I look forward to be the pains in your rear going forward. So, but as Dr. Robinson's son went to coach Northrop and Wayne, I'd be remiss as a football fan to not comment on Jerquaden Guilford for Northrop getting injured, and Wayne student Victor Daughtry getting up and helping him along and go off the sidelines as Jerquan couldn't walk because he was injured. This made a lot of video and a lot of streaming through social media I saw. That's the kind of effort in the community that I think Dr. Robinson, Kathy Friend, and what we try to stand for up here. And so I'm proud to acknowledge Victor up there today for the 10 people watching. But I always saw those people as enemies when we were playing football, but I would like to hope I have the fortitude of Victor Daughtry to help up an opponent of mine to get to the sideline and hopefully get better in task. But really impressive with that young man at Wayne High School, so I want to give kudos to him. Thank you.
Thanks, Noah. Dr. Daniel?
So I'd also like to add, Dr. Robinson was a person of firsts. So first female superintendent at Fort Wayne Community Schools, first African American to be a leader. And you think about what she had to overcome, the various, we say shared humanity, how can we have more of that? She had to experience things that were really, she was the icebreaker. She forged ahead and made these things happen. So again, wonderful celebration, and so glad that it could all come together in such a beautiful way. So with that, also I'd like to say that we are now Fort Wayne Community Schools, we are a Ford Next Generation of Learning designated site. So we were just awarded that on Thursday, and we've had some press here, a bit of a media before the beginning of our board meeting. So again, it takes a foundation to move these things forward, and that foundation was 17 years. We have deeper learning in pockets, but we need deeper learning throughout the district if we're going to see these metrics move in regards to academics, regards to students being successful post our high school experience, our pre-K through 12th grade experience. So again, I like to say we're not really adding new. We are expanding on what we have been about and are continuing to improve. And that's the beautiful thing about Fort Wayne Community Schools. It's about continuous improvement, and it's about evolving those partnerships to even a higher level. But you have to have a foundation to move those. And I think Dr. Robinson was absolutely one of the key factors. And we were just fortunate to have her part of our lives. And regrettably, she passed at an early age of 72. So, but I think as we said during the ceremony, it's our duty to pick up that torch and to carry that torch forward. So, thank you.
Marie, can I add one more thing, sorry, real
Yeah,
quick? I meant to shout out to Rhonda of Nutrition Services. When I saw your name on the agenda at Parkview Field, I thought, oh, great, she's going to talk about something at Nutrition Services, which we had just toured about a month or two before and was really impressed with. And yet you totally derailed me and went off into a great story. And I want to thank you and appreciate that you were willing to share that story with us and with the other district folks and the impact that, I'm sorry, I forget the gentleman's name, the teacher that you have, but just know I've told that story many times, including to my parents, and I really appreciate you sharing that. So thank you, Rhonda.
I know that story touched a lot of people. Is Mr. Roy Williams? Yes, yes. That was a touching moment for a lot of people. So way to make everyone cry. But good cry. I was able to attend on Saturday for Dr. Robinson's celebration of life. Thank you, Faye. It was beautiful. Your singing. That was the first time I heard you sing. So I was just like, wow, look at Faye go. I think the thing that was said over and over again was that we just want to thank the Robinson family for allowing Dr. Robinson to be such a tremendous force, not only in our school district, but in our community. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's a grandma, but she was at everything for this district, and she went down to the State House with Kathy as part of the dynamic duo that Representative Giaquinta mentioned. I remember one time she referred to getting up super early as what you call it, dark 30, when you get up before the sun even does. So just thank you so much to the Robinson family. And Faye, you said that Dr. Robinson planned those songs. Her son mentioned that she had planned things and had things in Ziploc bags and was just super organized, which I completely can see. So it was just nice hearing from both of her sons. It was nice to see their different personalities come through in their speeches, and even her grandkids with moving furniture. I loved that story. So, but just an honor and a complete privilege to be a board member and work with Dr. Robinson. She will definitely be missed. But she, I think like Dr. Daniel said, we need to pick up that torch and keep it moving forward. If we are going to honor her legacy, she wouldn't want any of us to give up now. So it is my complete honor to work with everyone in this room and all of our school board members. I'm just so thankful and proud of our district, and it really showed on Saturday what a community we all are. So just thank you to everyone. On a lighter note, before I cry, I just wanted to share that on Saturday, the Indiana PTA Sunday, the Indiana PTA was up from Indianapolis, and 31 of our schools showed up on a Sunday afternoon for a 2-hour training at the Allen County Public Library. So it just always warms my heart to see the commitment of not only our staff, but our parents as well. So there were 2 people from 31 buildings on Saturday afternoon. So thank you to Indiana PTA for coming up from Indianapolis to lead that training. And thank you to those parents and our local PTAs for always showing up and supporting our buildings, our staff, and our students. And with that, I will end my comments. And next board meeting is going to be Monday, September 11th. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
We adjourn, Madam President.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Steve. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?